This is the first of our mini tutorials to help us with handwriting, and the first thing that I want you to have a look at is the way that sheet's set up. So this here at the top shows us the letters that we're doing and their stroke order, so where you start and where you finish with each stroke. Now this may sound silly and you may already be in certain habits of drawing a letter a certain way, but if you are able to practice in the stroke order provided, you may find that it is actually easier to write some of your letters, particularly when it comes to writing joined up letters or cursive. Then we also have some examples here of what the finished complete capital letter looks like, some space for you to trace over, and some space for you to fill in your own capital letters. Then we have some lowercase letters traced out for you to look at, some half blank ones for you to trace, and again space for you to fill that row with all your practice letter A's. Then we have some joined letters together, again traced ones for you to copy and space for you to do your own. And then we have some phrases here so that you can actually practice putting these letters together with other letters. And after a while, when you do try this stroke order that we mention up the top here, you may find that this section down here, when you're joining letters together, actually becomes a little bit easier. Then we have these remaining 3 lines down here, or 4 lines in fact, where you can actually practice doing these letters yourself. So I want you to practice these sentences up here, down in these spare lines down here. So let's take a closer look at this stroke order up the top here. Now I can see the number 1 starts right up the top up here, and it's indicating to me that I go down. So my first stroke will be down, second stroke starts up here and goes down, third stroke goes straight through the middle. So I'm going to actually practice that with my pen now. So first one down, 2, 3. And then I can see for the lowercase a, I start at the top here, go around, down, and put a little flicky loop there to finish off. Now let's have a look at some of these traced letter A's that we have here. Again, I'm going to start at the top where it indicated 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to continue using this space to help me practice. And if I'm not sure, or if I feel that I'm getting a bit out of whack and it doesn't look quite right, I can go back over and trace over these again. Once I feel that I've had plenty of practice with those capital letter A's, I can go on to practicing these lowercase a's, remembering to start at the top, curve around with a little flick, top, curve around, little flick. And I can just use the rest of that line there to finish practicing my letter A's. Now I'm ready to start practicing on these little joined letter A's that we have together. So again, I start from the top and a little flick. And you can see I'm actually taking my pen off the page each time that I finish one of my letters A. That's because you don't actually have to continue writing without taking your pen off the paper. It's actually more effective to have a little break in between in a lot of cases. And when I've finished tracing over all those little A's, I can have a go doing it on my own without the tracing there to help me. And there's a whole line there for me to practice those. Finally, I'm moving on to tracing more entire words. So M, A, Z, and again, you can probably see that I'm taking my pen off to finish each of these letters. Gradually it becomes easier to join them all together, but at this stage, feel free to take your pen off and give it a rest in between. Now this sheet is designed for you to fill in the whole page, but I've just given you some little samples here. What I can do after I have finished all those tracings up there is I can actually use the lines below to begin practicing again without the tracing. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're practicing for the first time. Make it as neat and as tidy as you can. Try and remember to follow your stroke order. But remember, just every little bit of practice that you can do will help. And then once you have finished up all those lines, you've finished your first letters practice.